I want to talk to you guys about Tristar. Tristar. Now, what is Tristar? Or well, they say U2, but it's actually Tristar. It is when you use a cheap charge lead, so a $5 charge lead or a charge lead that doesn't have a chip in it. It's got to be MFI certified. It has a chip in the actual original Apple lead, so that's what protects your phone from over voltage. So a lot of these charge leads don't have this. The way we check our Tristar is we have an amp meter, and we can actually see if it's pulling any amps, so we can see what it's doing. It will still turn on. So I've got the battery installed on the phone. It will still turn on, as you can see. Maybe it won't turn on. Maybe it's already on. It's already on. Hang on a sec. So let's just pull the battery, plug it back in. Okay, so it'll still turn on. It'll still boot. It won't prompt to boot. That's usually a true test to see if if it is Tristar or not. Usually I check Tristar by the prompt to boot, or I check it with the multimeter, and I just check for the voltage. Usually you get around 3.4 to 4 volts on the battery connector rails, but that's usually Tristar when it doesn't prompt to boot. It's a pretty good given, you know. At the moment it's not charging at all. It won't even initiate that it's actually on. But we can push the button, change the charger flex, you can do all that. But at the end of the day, just check to see if it prompts to boot without a battery in it. So if we take this battery out now, obviously it's not charging at the moment as well. That's a good given. But if we take the battery out, so it has no battery in there, and then we tell this to boot up, it should boot normally. And then it should do a boot loop and keep boot looping. So that tells us that it's Tristar, and we'll just change that chip now and fix the problem. So let's do that. I'll just disconnect this motherboard, get this motherboard out of its housing. It's partially out now, so I'm seeing a lot of these lately, just because people are using the going and buying the cheap charge leads, and honestly, it's just not worth it. If I happen to take the chip off and put a new one on, just for the sake of $20. Okay, so this is out now. So we've got our board out. So we can have a look under here. I'll just turn my monitor on. Let's have a look. Okay, so our Tristar is under this shield here. Right under here in this spot here. So let's pull this shield off. Pull that off there. And let's whack some heat on here to get this shield off. It's usually a pretty quick job to do. Every job's sort of different. Some take long, some take short. So just heating the shield up, and there we go, pop the shield off. Shield's off. We'll get our board holder. So you can see what's going on. Okay, so let's have a look. So I need to turn the brightness down, and up there. Okay, so we'll just end up taking that bit of overfill off. Usually around just under 200 is usually alright. About 180 or so. So we'll just peel that off. This one's pretty clean around there anyway. So you can pull off the top bit if you like. And the writing's on that underfill or overfill. Keep calling it underfill, but it's actually overfill. So I don't care too much about that chip. Okay, so what I like to do now is I just add a little bit of flux. A little bit of flux to the area, and we'll get our little X-Acto knife. We'll get it up to temperature. You're just feeling inside here for when the balls are mounted. Like that. That's pretty much it. Let's pull the chip off. And now what we'll do, we'll drop our temperature down to just under 180. We'll zoom in a little bit. And we'll just see where that chip went. Oh, that chip flew off. That's there. I'll show you that in a minute. And then what we do is we just clean up this area. You know, a lot of people will shrink the pads first, just because you can actually risk ripping the pads off, which I usually do. But sometimes I don't. Depends how you feel. So I might just... There's that big bit there I didn't get to before. So it's just a matter of getting that back to there, say, and then we can use our iron and flatten those pads. I'm a little bit shaky today. Sometimes you have days where you are, and sometimes you have days when you're not. And today seems to be the day. I have had a few coffees today though, so that's probably what it is. So we'll get a bit of solder. Turn our fume extractor on. Add a little bit of flux. A little bit more flux. You can never not have enough flux on your board. You can always clean it up, but if you don't have enough flux, what can happen is that you can risk pulling pads, and also the pads don't take so well to heat if they haven't got enough flux on there. The flux sort of, I find this flux sort of, it just keeps them a bit cooler, you know, and keeps them nice. So that's pretty much it. Down like that. We won't go too hard with the pads on this. So that's nicely cleaned up now. Now we can inspect that area. So we can take it out of the board and just have a look. I'll show you what it looks like out of the holder. So if we look down like this, I'll turn there we go. Where are we? I'll put it against there and then focus on there we go. So yeah, you can see there. So all the pads are looking pretty good. Fluffy pillows, as Jessa says. So that's ready. Oh, that's ready for a new. Let's put it down. There we go. That's ready for a new chip on there. Everything looks good. So we'll pop it back on here. Put our shield on there. I like to use a shield over the NAND if I can. It just sort of helps it protect it from too much heat. Okay, so it's that. It's on an angle, guys, but it doesn't matter. We'll get a Tristar out. Now I do a lot of these Tristars. So we get our Tristar out. And where did that end up? Did I actually get it out? Did I? Not. Oh, there it is. They're small, these Tristars. They're small. So, right. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. We will add a little bit of flux. Oh, a bit of Lewis Rossman's flux. I do have both fluxes here. I have the Chip Quick and I have the Amtech. I don't mind either of them, to be honest. Now if you're worried, if you're concerned about orientation, let's show you how to quickly and easily find out which way this chip goes. So we will go on there. We will go on there, and we will go iPhone. Let's just change. Actually, let's just change this. That's too big. I wonder if we can change that at the top there. I don't usually use the top corner. Yeah, let's do it like that. So if we go back onto here, and then we go iPhone 6. Nope. iPhone 6. Now this is the quickest way to do it, because you can look at the pictures, but you don't actually need to look at the pictures. So you grab the board here, you go to where the Tristar is, and then you go A1. Now A1 is always where the dot is. So that's where the dot's got to go. So if you look back on the microscope camera, and you see where the dot is, which is there. You can see it. So that needs to go around like so. Okay, so what I normally do is I just heat this flux a little bit. So let's just heat this flux a little bit. Okay, and then I'll pop the IC on there like so. Make sure you line it up proper and gooder. Good and proper. Proper and gooder. Okay, so this is the thing when you don't wick your pads, it has to be pretty much close to being on there, like so. Now if I come in nice and gently with that, that should be spot on. So about 370 or so. Now if you come in nice and gently, I'll zoom out a little bit. Come in nice and gentle. If you come in too quick, it's just going to blow off. So if you come in nice and gentle, give it a bit of a wave, say hello to it. Alright, now we're cooking with gas. Now they're all heating up the same, and you'll see it float into place. So we'll add a bit more flux. Like that. Add a bit more heat, just a touch. And it will find its way. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. That's it. And that is job done. I'll just wait for it to cool a little bit. We'll get our flux removal. Just leave that on. That's all finished. So we'll just wipe up our mess. Now if you're wondering why I get that area so clean, I don't use I actually don't use alcohol for removing the flux. I use a product called Flux Clean by Electrolube, and it's got a really nice smell, I know that. I don't know how good it is for you, but it actually gets rid of the flux. So where alcohol sort of pushes it around, alcohol does get rid of it as well, but it sort of pushes it around a little bit, the alcohol. So that's it there. Looking good. Alright, so now it's testing time. So what we'll do is we'll just pop it back in the housing like that for now. I'll put the shield on afterwards. Shield installation is pretty much the same as the removal part. You just do one side at a time, and then it's all good to go. So now we will put the LCD back on. Now to check that we've done our job properly, we'll just check prompt to boot. So now if we plug it in, I will change over to this. So there's no battery installed, no battery, and if we plug in our charge cable, we should get an Apple logo. And there we go, we're getting the Apple logo. So that tells us the Tristar is now working. So and that will reboot now, and that will just keep going over and over again. As you can see, so it'll constantly do that. Yep, there we go. So if we add our battery now, we will not only have a boot, but we will have a charge, and we will actually be able to see it charging. So if I do this and position it like this, you should be able to see the charging. Oh, there we go, just vibrated. That tells me it's charging. So there we go, we've got a charge symbol. So if we plug it in, take it off, and then we push the button, we plug it in. There we go, we're getting our charging again. And that's about it, guys, for this video. It was just a simple Tristar. You know, I do lots of these, so as you can tell, I've got a big bag of these Tristars available. So if you need yours done, don't hesitate to send me an email, and I'll give you a quote, or go to my website, Fixing Things for You at Wix. And if you like the videos, please like it and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, guys. See you later.